Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for you today. This one is a follow-up to my last video about the artifacts level increase. We just got a post, or today we had a post on the forums for Mepps offering a bit more clarification, and I wanted to address that here. It's up on the screen, but I'll read it here. So basically he had 3 posts. He said, artifacts are intended to be a long-term project, not something that needs to be maxed out quickly, immediately when the max rank increases. We're not balancing content assuming maxed out artifacts, although you don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive they said that they were taking into account the stats from artifacts when they were balancing content, because we did get a balance pass on that when they first came out. I'm not 100% sure, but I swear to God I read that on the forums saying that they were balancing out, including the stats from artifacts, because they had to account for the stat increase. Nth metal continues to drop from anywhere, regardless of whether or not your loot lock, yada yada yada. And it doesn't work if everyone effortlessly immediately gets all the XP they want. We hear when you say it looks daunting, but I think if the expectation comes from thinking that it's necessary to max out again, and it's not the case, or the design. He confirmed that it is coming out in the next update. He also said artifacts will continue to increase a max rank, so it could be like 180, 200 in the future. And he also said it looks like there's going to be an increase, some sort of an increase and drop in nth metal XP in open world. We have no idea what that means. It's not on test, so we'll have to wait to see what that seems out. But the major point of this follow-up video I wanted to address is I sound like a broken record. It's been the same underlying issue with this game for the past 5-6 years, and it's because Mepps and the community manager and all the developers don't play their own game, so they've got no fucking clue what it's actually like to do these things in game, and the experience of us and all these players are, how we actually play the game. And the reason why all of us show up in arms is because, like, when you sit back and look at it, we've got people that are struggling to get to 100 artifact or 120 artifact. You've got people that just barely got 2 120 artifacts, even though you need technically, if you're running an off roll, you need 3. Like, you're gonna have the soul cloak and then for both you're gonna have whatever, a control or a healer artifact, whatever, and then you're gonna have the might artifact or a precision artifact, whatever. So technically, you really, the minimum you need 3 artifacts, and even from my own experience. Like, when the artifacts, like, I wouldn't say like I play the game like hardcore or 4 hours every day anymore, but when the artifact system came out, and even the past like 4 or 5 months, I've been playing pretty continually. And I just did a check for myself. All the XP I've saved up in my bank, which is like stacks of 10, stacks of 50, stacks of 20s, all the sentimental, I've got like half a bank full saved up, and it only comes to like 160, 180,000 XP. And when you think about it, if you're at 120, you need like 530, 550,000 XP to get to just rank 160. This is the biggest thing. So when you step back and think of when they say that it's a long-term project, it's taken us all this time to get to 120, which is only 165, 167,000 XP. Now we have to do something that's 4 or 5 times that amount. And this is the new level. And then by the time we get to there could be like another 180, 200 level increase. That'll take, 2 or 3 million XP, whatever is the case. So it's not, I'm not expecting, people are going to say this in the comments, but I'm not expecting us to get these artifacts right away. But I'm also taking a look at, at the time spent versus reward. There's barely any increases on basically for like 5 or 6 times the nth metal XP total experience you need, your stats only go up twice as much. Like, the base stats from 120 to 160 basically double. And, it's like an extra 1900 health, or like 300 might, or whatever, a 600 power, 1200 power, something. So in the grand scheme of things, when if you get an extra 1200 power and your power cost 4,000 power, like, it's not like a night and day difference. Even though it took you all this time, or like a casual player, it's going to take them months and months, and even probably like a year to get to 160. And they've spent that, months and months and months and months of farming nth metal, and they get like a little tiny increase in the grand scheme of things. And the might artifact goes up 0.2%. Instead of 1.6, it's 1.8. I don't know. I'm not much of a math person, so I can't tell you what that's going to be off the top of my head, but there's no way 550,000 XP is worth 1,000 might or like another 600 might or whatever that's going to be. You're not going to notice that in the gameplay. The only one that might work out is the supercharged one because that's like 3 or 4%. I don't know. I'm going to do the soul cloak first. But even with all my XP, even if I salvage the 120s I already have, I'm not going to get to a 160 day one. But Mepps says these aren't intended to be a long-term project and don't treat it like that. But Mepps and the devs have no problem shoving all this stuff on the marketplace for us. Seals of completion, artifact starter packs with a flawless nth metal, booster bundles with a flawless nth metal, the assassin time capsules with the sin stones that they specifically changed so that the sin stones work with all artifacts now. So now it places a greater emphasis on those assassin time capsules and the booster bundles. You can't even get a flawless nth metal in game. That's 1,000. You can get the 2 500s from like your weekly vault run, but that 1,000 doesn't even drop in game. And that's not to mention, if you go to, I forget his name off the top of my head, but the artifact vendor, if you go to that guy, he's selling like 20 and 50 XP for like 50 marks of victory and 100 marks, or was it like 25 marks of victory, 50 marks of victory. So, and if you kill something, an ad in the open world, if you could just go to anywhere, kill one ad, you're going to get more nth metal than, that's, 75 marks of victory worth. The correlation is just ridiculous. They need to be putting flawless nth metals in that vendor. They need to be putting like the 500 nth metal, like the 500, the 200 nth metal, the blue one is such a low drop rate. You could go forever and not get that. And for example, with the artifact detectors, the detectors, they're 180 on the marketplace. You can't get a multi-pack. It's just like it's 180 unless you buy like a booster bundle or something. You could see in my previous video, I saved up 99 nth metal caches, which was about 25, 30 detectors, something like that. Because if you play for the full hour, you get like a max of 6. Mostly it's 5, unless you've been playing like the exact full hour non-stop. Usually it's 5 nth metal caches per detector. That's the general rule of thumb if you're playing. But those 99 nth metal caches got me about 10,000 XP. So if I'm looking to do detectors to get these level 160s, I need like 5,300 nth metal caches. That's that's asinine. That's ridiculous. You're never going to get that much. So they need to put the 500s, the 1,000. They need to put more blues in dropping in open world. They need to do like elite raid. Like if you're running elite raid, you've got a greater chance to have like a flawless drop. They need flawless in those chests that we get at the ends of raids. They need flawless, like in our loot menus, we got a base item, a chance at a base item, a collection, and a gear piece. There needs to be a 4th slot too, besides Marks of Victory. There needs to be an nth metal one. Like they increase the grind tenfold to get these level 140s and 160s, but they offer us no other options to get them in game. Like they say they're going to update, so we'll wait and see what that is. But right now, the only way to level up your artifact quickly is through pay to win, is through the marketplace. And they've got no problem shoving all that stuff, seals of completions, everything I said. There's like 6 or 7 different things on the broker, plus all the catalyst starter packs, plus the catalyst seals packs. They got no problem shoving that entire thing on the marketplace, devoting like a whole section of basically pay to win. And then they give you shit all options in game to level up your artifacts. When you salvage, like you spent all that time getting an artifact to 120, and if you go to salvage it, it's worth half as much. Since artifacts came out, I can't tell off the top of my head when they came out. What's it been like 5, 6 months, maybe less, whatever. But we've had 2 bonus weekends, only 2 artifact bonus weekends, and they keep coming out with new artifacts. So if we like even the Venom Wrist, all the Prec TPS to get that, the Omega Tetrahedron, whatever that was called, they're coming out with new artifacts for us. So in the future, say like a really good healer one comes out, oh well, you're shit out of luck because you've spent all your XP saved up to get your one that you're currently using to 140, 160, and then they're going to come out with brand new ones. So it's just there's no correlation between the grind versus the rewards versus the devs, understanding of what's going on in this game. It's once again, it's like sounding like a broken record. I swear, I say this every time something comes up. Like for example, like Age of Justice. When Age of Justice one was on test server, those OP collections cost like 1,400 marks for all three. The gear set was like 1,000 marks. What was those 3 styles? Those were like 100, 200 marks each or something. It was going to be like 3,000 marks, Age of Justice marks to get that all the feats and all the items needed. That was ridiculous at the time. Someone was doing the math and was like, we're going to have to play for like 4 months doing your dailies every single day to get this. So then they reduced the cost. So they went from like, 2,400 marks down to like 1,000 marks for everything. And we need that in this case too. Like I linked it on the forums. It's the discussion post. I can't post there because Mepps continually bans me. So, voice our concerns. They have no idea what it's like and what it takes to level up an artifact because they've never done it. They're not used to the system. They're not used to how often you have to play, how much XP you can get per day. Even if you play every single day, you're just getting like 10s, 20s drops, 50s drops. And now we're going from where it's hard to get 160,000 to where we need like millions and millions of XP, like 3 million XP for alts. So take it as it is, guys.